Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Say yeah! Woohoo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line.
Almost fucking killed me! You're welcome!
Hey guys, what is what? Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode in this series. The response I've been getting since I've been coming back, has been great. We're getting the views up there for these videos, and I want to bring this back. I'm really trying hard to work on this every day. Really, every day to give you guys movie news and things you might know about, and things you guys all might be interested in. But yeah, I'm really glad it's been feel really good getting back into it. I feel like I'm kind of like getting into a mood now where it's like, okay, I know what topics I want to talk about and all this, and I want to talk about this, blah 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 blah. It's all a bunch of stuff, but I'm trying to be more focused and get back into the series. But let's start talking about these topics, and let's talk about this first topic here, and the Karate Kid franchise has been on a bit of a high. The Cobra Kai TV show really kind of put the Karate Kid fandom back into gear. Especially when I found Cobra Kai. That's when I started. I'm like, oh, let me go watch all the Karate Kid movies, and I did. And they tried to do it a few years earlier with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, which didn't really work out as I thought. Well, we got announced I'd say back in November that they would be doing a new Karate Kid movie, and it would have both Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan combining the two movies or whatever, and they were going to be looking for a new Karate Kid, even though they had been doing Cobra Kai, which was kind of like the next version of the Karate Kid. But now we have official confirmation that the movie is filming, and this is just kind of confirmation that the movie's happening. Once cameras are in front, that means the movie's actually happening. It's not being scrapped or anything. And they found their Karate Kid in a kid named Ben Wang, who basically, he's a first-timer. Hasn't been anything. This is kind of his first huge thing he's doing. And that's what the kind of thing was when they put it a few months ago. They want to find someone new. Because, I think when Ralph Macchio was coming in, no one knew who Ralph Macchio is. And Jaden Smith, of course he was Will Smith's son, but he hadn't really been anything. So, them kind of doing the same thing what they did the original movies is doing here. But the question really is, everyone keeps asking, is this going to be connected to Cobra Kai? And, I honestly think that it has to be, because Cobra Kai has such a cult following. Everyone loves those characters, and I especially love those characters, and I love the actors who portray them. I think just every character in the show is so fun to watch, and it's it's one of those shows where it's you love seeing the good guy beat up the bad guy. It's one of those shows, and now we're getting to the movie. It's why do they need to do a movie? That's why it's you already got Cobra Kai. Why do you need a movie? And maybe the movie is okay. The Karate Kid franchise working good on small screen. Well, they probably think it's now time to bring it back to the big screen. And I don't know when this is coming out. Let me look real quick. I know it's coming out 2024, which is this year. I don't know if there's an actual release date. Oh, actual release date. It's December 18th of 2024. So this is coming out in a few months. This is coming around time Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and a lot of other big movies coming out during the big Christmas season. So this might be something you might want to take the kids to go see, along with Sonic, kind of being that competition with Sonic as well. And I don't know if they're gonna want to keep the same Cobra Kai audience for this, because I felt the Karate Kid movie they did a few years ago with Jackie Chan in 2010, that was kind of not really super adult. They were adult themes, but not super adult, and it wasn't the greatest movie received. But I'm just wondering and we're not going to get an idea for this until we see a story. And this is a Sony movie, so we're not going to get any of this from CinemaCon, because Sony Pictures is not attending this year at CinemaCon. So it's going to be a while till we actually see what the story is and what they got going on. But that's your thoughts. The Karate Kid movie is finally filming. Are you guys excited, or are you guys kind of like, I don't know why they're doing this movie? Please leave your comments down below. Let's move on to this next topic here, which is this. Comic book movies have been one of the most profitable films in the last, decade. Starting with back in 2000 with the X-Men movies, and kind of just gone uphill. And we've got a lot of people now are kind of like not really into them, much. Of course, I am into them, and I'd see like anything based on a comic book because that's the stuff I'm interested in. And also, it was a big year also for Margot Robbie. Her coming out with Barbie, which grossed $1 billion+ when she hasn't. People are starting to think, is Margot Robbie really a box office draw? Well, she was for Barbie. And then on the other hand, we have Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde. She made a fantastic movie in Booksmart, hilariously funny, and then she did Don't Worry, Darling, which bombed and had a lot of controversy going on about it with the cast and even her as well. Well, this is according to Deadline. Lucky Chap Studios, which is Margot Robbie Studios, teaming with Olivia Wilde on Deadpool, Rob Liefeld's Avengelyne. Get your textbooks ready, the dish. So, you might be kind of confused by what Deadline just said. They're saying like this isn't a Marvel property. This is kind of like a Dark Horse property called Avengelyne. And I was interested. I'm like, okay, what is Avengelyne that got Margot Robbie and Olivia Wilde interested in it? And I went down and checked this is kind of the synopsis, if you want to know what Avengelyne is. So, Avengelyne is an angel who fights the forces of evil and often finds herself face to face with demons and monsters. She was the most feared warrior in Heaven's Warhost, having single-handedly broken into Pandemonia, the outer fortress of hell, to confront the devil himself. She is a fallen angel, banished from heaven by God after being tricked into questioning his love for humans. Avengelyne was stripped of all her angelic abilities, other than her great strength in her blood, which once extracted from her body could be used as a weapon or a miracle. Once empowered by quoting verses from the Bible, Avengelyne uses her powers to fight demons on Earth and is being groomed to be mankind's last hope in a coming Armageddon. And I read the synopsis and I'm like, this is a brilliant idea, Like, if you look at the look of the character, it's very, much, of the times, It's very, 2000s, has a very 2000s look, in my opinion, back when, with her costume and everything. And, I'm like, okay, so what's so cool about it? She's, she has, if you guys ever watched the series, the anime Chainsaw Man, and there's a character called Power who uses, her own blood as weapons, and I'm like, that's kind of what they're saying, this character does. She uses her own blood, and it's kind of like a revenge story. She's tricked. She does all this stuff for God, and then she's tricked and sent down to Earth, and they're just kind of laughing at her, and she's meant to save the world and stop the hell and heaven from coming down and destroying the world. And I think that this could be interesting. And you got Margot Robbie company who has been killing it because they also did Saltburn, which Saltburn I did not see, but I heard amazing things. And then Barbie, and then you got Olivia Wilde in here. We don't know if she's directing, she might be directing, or we just know both of them will be working on this project. And this is outside of everything, no Marvel, no DC, it's its own property. And I think if this could be kind of Booksmart Olivia Wilde rather than Don't Worry, Darling Olivia Wilde, it can be very good. I think, that the character does seem very serious. It seems like a very serious character. But I think what you can do with it is, I think Olivia Wilde, with Booksmart, she is great at comedy. Great at comedy. Now, I'm not saying make this Avengelyne movie a comedy movie. I'm saying, don't make it super, super dark and serious. I think the reason Robbie wants to probably do this is because maybe they want to put a different spin on the superhero genre, And if you really think about it, people are really questioning today. People are oh, female superhero movies, they don't do as well. I'm it's not a problem with having female leads as superheroes. It's the writing of some of the movies. You look at the Marvels, some of the writing in that was just so cheesy and terrible. It's I want to see a superhero movie, but I also kind of want to see one where like people would actually say things that they would actually say in real life. Not say stupid ass things. I think after Barbie, after Saltburn, like Margot Robbie's company is probably one of the highest demand companies for people to work with right now because they know it's just success. Because you got Barbie, which was a hit at the box office, and you got Saltburn, which was a hit critically, and I thought it was honestly going to be nominated for an Oscar because and that kind of also put some of the actors in that on the map in Hollywood. But I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this project. I'm very interested. I might even pick up a few Avengelyne comics to get a sense of more of what the character is to make me even more excited. But we're just getting confirmation this movie is happening. What are you guys' thoughts? Have you guys ever heard of the character Avengelyne? Have you been interested in this at all? Do you think this could be a hit for Margot Robbie Studio, and you think maybe it could help Olivia Wilde put her image a little bit back together? What are your thoughts? Put it down in the comments down below, and let's move on to this next topic here. James Mangold has been one of the better directors, I think, in the last few years. He made that astounding movie in Ford v Ferrari. Ford v Ferrari, with Christian Bale and Matt Damon, which is one of my favorite movies. Like, it's probably my top 10 favorite movies of all time list because I love it so much. And then he's probably made one of the best comic book movies ever in Logan, which is like based on the Old Man Logan storyline, and it was a perfect ending, in my opinion, to the X-Men franchise. But then we also got it. But then he did Indiana Jones, and people were like, "Oh, Indiana Jones." I think was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't It wasn't Kingdom of the Crystal Skull bag. It just wasn't great. I went to go see it, and I'm like, okay. And then I walked out. That was okay. And that's not what you really want from a movie. Well, then at Star Wars Celebration about a year ago, they announced that they'll be doing all these new Star Wars movies, and one of those was James Mangold's Star Wars movie. This comes us from the comicbook.com. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi finds a writer in Andor scribe, but will James Mangold direct Swamp Thing? Now, we're going to ignore that Swamp Thing theme for now. We're not going to talk about that Swamp Thing. This is more about them finding a writer for this movie. And, sure, this puts it a bit more, into fruition that this movie's actually happening. But the truth is, for Star Wars, I will not believe this is happening until I see sets built, I see cameras rolling on set and saying, okay, this is happening. Because Lucasfilm does this thing where they just want to announce things. Announce. And then they say, oh, 3 months later, a year later, we cancel it. And, people, and you keep doing that, you're going to be like, oh, we're not going to believe anything you say because you haven't made half the stuff you are. And, I think it's weird how, for the Star Wars stuff, they're like, let's switch to television because, Rise of Skywalker in the news was they haven't made a movie since Rise of Skywalker. That was in 2019. If you think about that now, that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we haven't got a Star Wars movie on screen. We've got Mandalorian, which is great, but most of the other Star Wars stuff hasn't been great. And, we don't know what's coming first. We know we got that Mando Grogu movie coming, which I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know why we're getting a season 4 Mando as a movie. Maybe that's just Lucasfilm just trying to get money off of Baby Grogu stuff. But, I'm excited for this. And James Mangold's movie is a really interesting idea for Star Wars. It's who created the Jedi? Who was the first? Who was the first Jedi? That is an interesting story to tell because you don't have to talk about events that happened in George Lucas's films. You don't have to talk about what happened in the sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy or even the shows. You can go off and tell your own story. And James Mangold, I think just because you have one dud in the bunch doesn't mean I should not believe in you at all. He made Logan. He made Ford v Ferrari. And I think if he goes, for what he did in Logan with this could be very interesting. Tell the story of the first Jedi. Tell the story of the light, the dark. Tell us what is a Jedi? What is the Force? Tell us about all that. And I think it'll make for an interesting movie. Now, them getting a writer from Andor will always have my stamp of approval because Andor, I think, is one of the best things Star Wars has done since the original trilogy. I think most people won't say that because people are like, oh, there's no Jedi, there's no lightsabers. I'm like, the thing is, like, take away the Star Wars from that English, or take away the title Star Wars. Like, that show was a great sci-fi fiction show that had great performances and a great cast. Diego Luna, Stellan Skarsgård, all great performances. And I tell you, I listened to Andor's mom's speech, when she dies over the droid, when you have the people, like, at her funeral. That speech is inspiring. Like, that's a speech I listen to almost every day because, not every day, but most of the time because it is so inspirational. Like, it's so good. And I'm excited to see, you get a talented director. Now you got a writer from a critically acclaimed Star Wars show that has worked on it. This is obviously what Sony is doing, where they're getting someone who worked on a shitty movie to work on another shitty movie with Morbius and Madam Web. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for this new Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi movie? Or are you kind of over Star Wars, because it's been kind of declining over the years? Or are you just sick of Kathleen Kennedy? Please leave your comments down below and tell me your thoughts. And let's move on to our final topic here. I would say the Dune franchise has had an interesting road to how popular it is today. You look back at the older Dune film, which was said to not be, it wasn't bad, but it was like not great. And they've been trying to adapt Dune for years. And they finally did it with Dune Part 1, which sadly did not have the performance I hoped it would be, because they released it on streaming and in theaters, which was absolutely stupid, but it was still a pandemic, so it didn't make a whole lot of money. Take it back to this year. It's the first week of March, and Dune 2 opens, and it shatters people's expectations with how great it is. People calling it the best sci-fi film of this generation, and it passing $600 million at the box office, and cementing Timothée Chalamet as the next big thing in Hollywood. Now the question was, would they make a Dune 3? Denis Villeneuve has come out and said that he would. This comes to us from Variety. Denis Villeneuve and Legendary developing Dune 3 and Nuclear War, a scenario film adaptation. Now, we're not going to talk about that nuclear war thing. This is about Dune. Now, so it's confirmed. They are making Dune 3. It is out there. It is confirmed now. Dune 3 is happening, my friends. It is happening. Now, I'm going to say it's going to take us a while to get this movie, because for Dune 1 and Dune 2, they did it back to back. Like, you're like, oh, if Dune 1 finished, okay, let's do Dune 2. And of course, we had the strikes, which delayed the film, so that's why it took a while for us to get it. And plus, those effects probably took years to do. I'd say 2 years to do most of those effects. And, people really have questioned, like, can you really top Dune 2? Just kind of like, can you top the Dark Knight? And Christopher Nolan, like, he made it. Dark Knight Rises, I think, is an underappreciated film. I really like it, but there's no topping like when you make one of the best comic book movies of all time in The Dark Knight. Now, the thing also has been that there is no third part in the first Dune book Denis Villeneuve can do. The next part is Dune Messiah, which it kind of goes back to would be kind of like the first Dune movie. There's a lot of talking and a lot of weird stuff happening. It's very, very weird. And, as you progress in the Dune book franchise, people say, the books don't get kind of worse and worse. And, the thing is, people is he going to do what Frank Herbert did in the book? Is he going to try to translate that? Or is he going to try to do something else? Because, also, Dune 3 takes, hear this out, 12 years after Dune Part 1 and 2. So it will be 12 years after it. 12 years. That means that Anya Taylor-Joy can come in as his sister. And the question is, are they going to go for older actors like they kind of did in the House of Dragon series, or are they going to stick with the same ones? I think it's a toss between the two, because for the first one, which is keeping the same actors, Timothée Chalamet is a star. There's no doubt about it. when he was first doing these big movies like Wonka and Dune Part 1, you're like, okay, he might be good. It's like, his movies are grossing, with him in it, over $500 million. You know, no one's really doing that right now. And he just signed, like, a really, like, I think, first look deal with Warner Brothers for films. And now, like, he's got Dune 3 coming out, which is going to probably build more hype. And, you know, I would have hoped Dune Part 2 would make $1 billion. I don't think it's going to get there. I think it's probably going to get to 750 or 800 million. I'm hoping 800 million, but it's not. It's going to get there. But now that we have this confirmed, we can be excited that Dune 3 is officially happening. I'm going to say it's going to take, like I said, it's going to take some time for us to get this movie, because it takes a lot. You got to renegotiate contracts, figure out, write the script, see if it's a good script, and there you go. Then you can get into production and all of it. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for Dune 3 or Dune Messiah, whatever they call it, which is probably going to be Denis Villeneuve's last Dune film? Are you excited for it, or are you not really a Dune fan? Please make sure you leave a comment down below. And that's going to be it for our topics today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys are enjoying this. Me going over all these topics. I have a blast talking about it with you guys. And, you know, I hope you like and comment the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Peace!